Now I will show what is the function. You already have seen functions in many cases in my previous tutorials, but I am going to describe it more. The function has actually two types of functions that are available in PHP. One is built-in function and another one is user-defined function. Built-in function means the list of functions that PHP gives you. You cannot change those functions. How it works, you already have seen that there are many types of functions. Also string functions, when I worked with the string, you saw that there are string functions. There are also many other functions, for example array functions and many other functions. I am going to give you here a complete reference of functions. I am going to copy this link, and in my browser here I am going to paste it. You will see that here are many functions in the PHP that are given here as complete reference. The functions that are used in the file system are given here, that are used in the database, date time functions, cryptography extension, audio functions. There are many other functions here. You will get a complete list of many functions here. Now I am going to show you some important functions, that is some user-defined functions. How I will show you how to work with the user-defined functions. What are actually functions? Functions mean you will write something in a block, and that block you can use many times in your code. For example, in order to define a function, I will call a function. I will just write the word function, and I will have to give a name of that function. For example, add. I want to add something, right? So in that case, what I can do, I can simply add two items. Echo, for example, here I declare a variable a equal to 10 and for example b equal to 20, and then echo a plus b. So this is a function, but this function actually has no return value. This function actually does not return you anything. You just simply call it. This is the function definition that I already have written. This is the definition, and I will have to just call this function add. No echo is needed, just call the add. Now what will happen if I refresh the function? You will see that 30 is coming. That means it calculates the internally something here. So it also show that into the function. That means echo is given into the function. So when you just call this function, everything will work into the function. So this is one way to use this function. There is another way to use the function. For example, I get a and b, but instead of echo, what I will do, I will return a plus b. So here if I call the function, refresh, you see nothing has happened because I did not echo the value anywhere. I just returned the value. That means this add function will return me something that is into here. So I just call it echo. Now if I refresh it, you will see that the 30 is here. That means now the function which just capture a value did not echo it, just capture a value. I am just going to output that. So I call a echo before this function. I hope you have understood this well. I am going to show another way. That is, this function, you see that it has a return value and previously it has no return value. But here what I can do, I can just pass the value here, the a and b, not like this. I am going to pass the value. That means a function can have parameters. So here in the parameter, I pass one value, I pass another value. You can pass single value in the parameter like this, or if you want, you can use multiple parameters here using this symbol, that is comma symbol, and you can add as many parameters as you want here, and then there will be calculation. The return will be a plus b. But if you want to run this now, it will show you an error because there is nothing defined in the value of a and b. So when you will call this function, you can easily pass some values, for example 10 and 40. So these two values you will pass here. So the value of a will be 10. Always remember that the first value that you will pass, it will be into the first variable in the function definition. The second value here will be into the second variable here. So those will be added, and that I am going to return here using the echo. Now refresh, you will see that 50 is the result, 10 plus 40. What is the benefit of using the function like this? The benefit is you can change the parameter each time. You can call this function multiple times. For example, I want to add now 50 and 40 or 50 and 50. So you see that first time it will call, second time it will call. That means you can use this function multiple times. You can reuse it. So it gives you better result in programming because you do not need to write the same code again and again. Now if I refresh it, you see that the first it is 50, the second time it is 100. So in this way you can call this function multiple times or unlimited times. So this is very effective example. I am going to show you another thing that you can easily do in the function. That is, for example, I am going to paste the same thing here. Remember that here you pass 10 and 40, but here is, for example, another value c, a plus b plus c, but you pass here 10 and 40. What will happen? If I go to refresh, you will see it will show you a fatal error, and it is telling that too few arguments to function add. That means in this function you did not give any value to the variable c. So in order to skip that, you can use a default value for a function. For example, I put here $c equal to 0. That means if you do not pass any third value here, that will automatically be defined by 0. If you refresh it, it is 50. That means what is it is doing? It is taking the value a is 10, so 10 plus 40 is the value of b, 40 plus 0, c's value is 0. So by default you can give here the values like this. So if now I give one value parameter, so this will be captured by a equal to 0, b equal to 0, c equal to 0. So instead of 0, here the value of a will be 10. So here it will be calculated like this, 10 plus 0 plus 0. So there will be no error, 10 is the output. If you do not pass anything here, for example like this, what will be the output? 0. But there will be actually no error message. In this way you can just give a default value to the function parameters or arguments. So this is another way. In practical you can use function in many ways. For example, I am going to show you an example. As for example, I am going to copy the code that we used in the for loop to show the parameter to show the pyramid. So I am going to paste it here. If I now run this code, you will see that sorry, not this code, here the pyramid code I am going to bring. I am going to show you a code that was a pyramid code. The pyramid code is this. I am going to activate it. Now let's check what is in the output. So in the output you see that this is the 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. This was actually the output of a pyramid. Now how I can tell it that how many numbers it will go? So the whole codes I can take into a function. For example, pyramid is the name of my function, and I put the full course into my function block. Now from the outside I will pass a parameter here, that is number. So the pyramid I will call here like this, here I will just call the pyramid and pass the number here up to how many it will show. For example, 8. So number will be 8 and here will be number. So let's check. I can refresh. You see that up to 8 numbers it is coming. If I pass it the another value pass here, that is 5, then it will show up to 5. In this way I can call the pyramid multiple times. One is for 3, another is 7, another one is 9, for example. Then what will happen? You see that this is one pyramid, this is another one, and this is up to 9, another one. So this is actually the benefit of using a function in PHP.